like this, but Manly also have 9 internationals in their side, and if these fellows get going and turn it on, Manly will make it very difficult for Canterbury indeed.
And here's the Manly team. Just the one change since this team was named. Simon Booth again unable to take his place in the team because of that shoulder injury, and Michael Blake replaces him in the centre. Number 8 is Paul Vorton, the young fellow who came to Manly from Queensland this year. The club did intend that he have a season in reserve grade, but had to come into the first grade because of injuries early. The Canterbury-Bankstown team is as chosen for this match. No change in this Canterbury-Bankstown team for what is a do-or-die effort for Canterbury. And here's a very important man, number 10, Graham Hughes, a most experienced forward. They're going to need the driving force of Graham Hughes in that forward play out there today. When things are tough, this is the man who can come up trumps for Canterbury-Bankstown. The referee is Greg Hartley. Stan Cutler takes the kick-off for Canterbury-Bankstown. Reg Gasnier.
Well, I think today's game gets right back to Manly's attitude. If they get themselves in the frame of mind, well, they've certainly got the experience in the side. They've got something like 9 internationals, and that's a wealth of experience. Both forwards and backs, they have some brilliant internationals, brilliant ball players. In Gibbs, Alan Thompson, Graham Eadie, Russell Gartner, they've certainly got some great backs. Canterbury, of course, realising the importance of this game, are going to have to give their all. And I'm sure they've been G'd up for this, and their coach, Teddy Glossop, and all the week. Also, we must remember that Canterbury have had a fortnight's break. They didn't play last weekend, and as such must be very fit indeed. And I think it should be a very exciting game.
So it's the first scrum, about 12 metres on Manly side of the halfway line, and referee Greg Hartley having a good talk to the forwards before allowing them to go down. Crowd be getting a little restless. And that's a Canterbury scrum win, the first of the match, and it's Gary Hughes in possession and forced back in that tackle by Gartner and 5'8" Alan Thompson. Steve Mortimer at dummy half. And away it goes to Cook, who got under a high tackle there from Ian Thompson. Cook about 10 metres on Manly side of the halfway line. Back it comes to Vaponis on to Gary Hughes, and out to Brentnall, the centre. Further out to Cutler and onto the wing where it's Gearan. Still about 10 metres on Manly side of the halfway line. Vaponis, Mortimer, and the young fellow Smith for Canterbury-Bankstown, Peter Smith. Vaponis cutting out one there with a pass to Mortimer, and the next pass found the second row of folks. Now it's Mortimer switching it across to Gary Hughes. That's a long one to Cutler, left from behind, but nicely held by Gearan. Not far from the quarter line, Manly's end of the ground. Gearan to play it for Canterbury. And it's Brentnall who's up at dummy half. On to Steve Mortimer. Cook. Back to Vaponis and out to Mortimer again. Now it's out in the centres. Brentnall. Mortimer. 10 metres short of the quarter line. Manly's end and 5 tackles gone on Canterbury-Bankstown. Vaponis is up at dummy half. Graham Hughes. Smith. And that's 6 tackles on Canterbury. Gibbs feeds the scrum. And it's a Manly ball. Gibbs. Tackled by Mark Hughes. Thompson to Mooney, who had come in from the wing. It's a very determined runner, Tom Mooney. That's 12 metres short of the halfway line. Krilich at dummy half. Cray. The match that Canterbury must win to be sure of a place in the final 5. Alan Thompson back to Krilich, and now Ian Thompson. Inside Martin. And that's a penalty against Canterbury. The referee had called held. Let him play it. Graham Eadie to kick for the touchline. And Eadie's kick is good, taking play to within 5 metres or so of the Canterbury quarter. With a free kick. That's the Canterbury quarter line. Krilich, Alan Thompson, Ian Thompson. Walker.
Quite a contact there.
Certainly was. Gibbs, Alan Thompson, Craig. Very strong fellow, Cray. Very thick-set. Alan Thompson. Gibbs. Gartner. He's got support out wide, and he's inside the quarter. Great run by Gartner. Excellent run. That's only 3 or 4 metres out from the line. Eadie is up at dummy half. 5 tackles gone as the ball goes to Gibbs. The dummy. Back it comes to Eadie. Gartner, and inside Martin. And that's the 6th tackle, close to the Canterbury line. Penalty against Manly, not packing straight and moving it away from the mark. Left footer. Certainly put that one into the air, and what a good kick. What a great kick from Britnell, finding touch just in Manly's half. That's a big gain. Paponis with a free kick, and on to Mortimer. Smith. Very promising young fellow, this Smith.
He looks good. He takes that ball up all the time.
Cook, another promising lad for Canterbury, plays back to Paponis. On to Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Peter Mortimer. Down towards the quarter line. Tackled by Vorton. Paponis a dummy half. Steve Mortimer. Graham Hughes to Folkes. Anderson on the wing, and he's through Martin. Anderson inside the quarter. Eventually tackled by Walker some 15 metres out from the line. Into Mark Hughes. Steve Mortimer. The long one to Peter Mortimer. And now Cutler. Cutler in a gap. Inside the quarter, but 5 tackles gone on Canterbury. Peter Mortimer is at dummy half. Out to Cook. Folkes. Graham Hughes. Just inside the quarter line. Reverse to Anderson. And Anderson gets the ball back inside again to Cook. Nowhere for him to go, and Cook takes the tackle about 10 metres out. Now this is an important scrum. And it's a Manly scrum win. Gibbs. Tackled by Mark Hughes. From Krilich to Knight. Or Cray at least, not Knight. Cray. Back to Krilich. Walker. Krilich, Ian Thompson, Vorton in the gap. Nicely taken by Steve Mortimer in that tackle. Krilich, Eadie, who had a pretty quiet game against South Sydney last week. Alan Thompson, nearly intercepted there by Brentnell, but Gartner has it. Tackled by Brentnell. Now it's Mooney. Just a few metres in Manly's half. 5 tackles gone on Manly. Alan Thompson. Gibbs. Out of the tackle. And another. Away over the top of Walker. Martin can't pick it up, and Anderson has it. And Gibbs is after him. And he's got Anderson inside the quarter of Manly's end. Good work, Johnny Gibbs. Now it's Mark Hughes to Steve Mortimer. Not a good pass. Recovered by Folkes. And Folkes takes the tackle of Alan Thompson, who comes up with the ball. Alan Thompson has it, and the referee says Canterbury's ball. Thompson gives it back to the play of the ball. Canterbury still in possession. A few metres short of the quarter line. From Paponis to Mortimer. Smith. Walker and Ian Thompson the tacklers. Paponis. Cook. 5 tackles gone. Well, I don't think the referee realised that Thompson actually had the ball, because if he had, he would have signalled that the tackle count would restart. But he's continued to count the tackles, and that's number 6. Gibbs feeds the pack. Manly's ball. Vorton. That's just outside the Manly quarter. The scrums now are 3-1 to Manly. So Krilich doing an important job for his team against the Australian hooker. George Paponis, Australian hooker and captain, and Canterbury hooker and captain. Cray. Krilich at dummy half. Canterbury player hurt in that tackle was Gary Hughes. Looks like a shoulder.
He was hurt earlier, and it looks like he's in pain. It would not surprise me to see him in place, because it's the second time now that he's had to get attention.
And it's Canterbury in possession now, just outside the quarter. Brentnell to play it back. Inside it comes to Mortimer. Mark Hughes. Around a couple, and that's Folkes. Folkes just inside the quarter. Canterbury on the attack again. From Cutler to Mortimer. Smith. Back to Paponis. Graham Hughes, Mark Hughes, and it looks like Casillas is going on for Canterbury-Bankstown, so there'll have to be a change. Peter Casillas, wearing jumper number 15, has gone on for Canterbury, so Gary Hughes replaced. That's a blow for Canterbury. Casillas is a forward, so there'll have to be some reorganising of the Canterbury team. This is Mortimer, inside the quarter, the up and under, and that's coming down with Peter Mortimer charging through, but well taken, Graham Eadie. Eadie beautifully tackled. Steve Mortimer there for that tackle. Now it's Gibbs. The little kick ahead. Gibbs falls to the ground. There'll be a penalty. Gibbs was tripped after kicking the ball. Now the penalty taken by Eadie. Just over the halfway line. Village with a free kick onto Gibbs, Thompson, Walker, at least Gartner on a tray, and now it's Knight, and Knight to Blake. Blake up towards the corner line, but the winger's too far away from him, but he's found Thompson. Thompson inside the corner and on to Mooney, and that's a try. That's an excellent try by Manly, and it's 3 points to 0.
Yes, Blake does very well here to keep that ball going. It looked like the movement was going to stop here, but again, this is the advantage of supporting the man with the ball. Beautifully carried on there by Thompson. Great piece of work and a delightful pass, a beautiful pass floating out there to Mooney. The Canterbury defence nowhere to be seen, and that's a great Manly try, a good team try.
Now it's Graham Eadie from just inside the quarter to attempt the conversion. And it's gone out to the right, no goal. It's still 3-0. in favour of Manly. The kick-off by Cutler for Canterbury-Bankstown. Back inside the quarter. It's Blake. Blake for Manly, up to his own quarter line. From Krilich to Knight. Knight to play it, about 8 metres outside his own quarter line. On to Thompson. Not a good pass then, but Manly did well to recover. Blake plays it back to Walker. On to Thompson. Ian Thompson now. Back to Alan Thompson. And now Vorton. That's about 10 metres outside the Manly quarter line. Manly 3 leading Canterbury 0. Way to Gibbs. Mooney. Eadie. And now Blake. Inside Eadie. Martin. Manly moving the ball well. Martin held a few metres short of halfway. 5 tackles gone. Village to Gibbs. Alan Thompson. Ian Thompson. And he's lost the ball. The referee says knock on. Now let's see how they form this pack. Casillas has gone into the scrum. Casillas, who has replaced Gary Hughes, is in the second row. And Folkes is at lock with Mark Hughes at 5'8". So they're the changes in the Canterbury team. As Hughes gets the long pass to Mortimer, who couldn't handle it. It's Alan Thompson to Martin. A few metres in Manly's half. Well, that was the scrum that Canterbury needed. They won it, but failed to hold the ball.
I don't think their coach, Teddy Grosser, would be very happy with Canterbury at the moment. They're not together. They're in 6s and 7s, and Manly are playing above them.
And there's an interception by Mark Hughes, and that's on the halfway line. Hughes in possession for Canterbury-Bankstown. Paponis to Cook. Back through Folkes and on to Graham Hughes. Just in Manly's half. Mortimer. Good run by Mortimer. But he's lost the ball in the tackle. Knocked back, says the referee. Graham Hughes has it. And that's not far from the quarter line. The tackle count has restarted. Paponis. Anderson. On the quarter line, Manly's end. Behind the play, Mark Hughes is now receiving attention. And it's Graham Hughes at dummy half. Cook inside the quarter line. That's a strong run by Cook, and he's got the ball on to Paponis, and Paponis is in. That's a try. Scored by Paponis, set up by Cook, and it's 3-all.
That's fine work by the front row. Only a young fellow, and he did a strong run. Very loose Manly defence here, but Cook looking for the support, gets it in for Paponis, and that's a fine try. Good backing up by the Canterbury captain.
Steve Gearon is the second top point scorer in the Sydney competition this year, and this shouldn't be too difficult for him. It's off the upright, and it's no goal. He's missed an easy one, and it's 3-all. Kick is by Eadie, and that's deep to Canterbury's end of the ground, caught by Brentnell. He's going to return it. Chased by Gibbs, back to his quarter line. That's Gibbs for Manly. Around Casillas, past to Blake. Taken in that good tackle by Folks on the halfway line. And it goes to Alan Thompson, Borton, running into Smith, and Graham Hughes. Krilich, Ian Thompson, Alan Thompson. On the players not anticipating the pass then. Eadie did well to recover and give it to Gartner.
They're all bunched up there. They're not lining out.
That's Cray. Hit hard by the two props, Smith and Cook.
I've noticed the Manly play, Alan Thompson taking that first pass, which is good tactics because he's one of the best ball distributors in the game.
And he gave it nicely tonight, and back to Ian Thompson, but that's a forward one. That was deliberately forward. So Brentnell kicks for the touchline. What a hefty boot that is.
That's tremendous.
Oh, that's a great kick, and he's taken play inside the quarter on Manly's end. Paponis with a free kick to Mortimer, and now Cook, who set up the try for Canterbury with a very strong run. Very promising young prop forward Cook, who played representative football this year. Smith. That's about 15 metres out from the line. Paponis, Graham Hughes, 10 metres out. 3-all the scores, Manly and Canterbury. Paponis, Mortimer, and Brentnell, all not quite through the tackle. Not held in the first one, but now we'll have to play it about 6 metres out from the line. Paponis, Peter Mortimer. Unable to get that pass away to Gearon. Now inside it comes to Mortimer and the up and under. That's a dangerous one coming down right on the line. And Eadie brilliantly takes that. Oh, that's vintage Graham Eadie, that one.
That was well taken, Graham Eadie. He was under pressure. There were 4 or 5 Canterbury defenders moving up. It was a great kick from Mortimer there, giving his players plenty of time to get under it. But, well, tremendous.
And here's a break by Max Krilich. Up over the quarter line. Steve Mortimer is there to tackle him. Krilich to play it. Back to Alan Thompson. Out wide to Eadie. Back to Cray. And Manly making ground. That's only 10 metres from halfway. Knight at dummy half. Ian Thompson. Few metres from halfway. Gibbs, Thompson, Gartner into Canterbury's half. Walker backing up, and now Gibbs again. Out to Mooney and inside Alan Thompson, and he's inside the quarter. He's got support inside. That's Gartner. Couldn't pick it up, but Mooney has it, and Mooney has scored his second try. Brilliant work by Manly, and it's 6-3. Again, it's a difficult one for Eadie. And again, no goal. Just out to the right. It's still 6-3 in favour of Manly after 25 minutes. Cutler takes the kick-off. Down towards the quarter line. Knight for Manly. Ian Thompson dummying to Cray and taking the tackle. Some 13 or 14 metres in his own half. Martin, Thompson, Walker.
It's amazing. I'm just wondering what the coach Frank Stanton is thinking. Probably why didn't they play like this earlier in the year? Particularly in the latter part of the second half. They're playing good football, Manly. Working the ball both sides, backing each other up. It's good stuff.
Grilic has lost the ball. And it's Canterbury in possession, a few metres in Manly's half, or has no Manly regain, so the referee will set the scrum for the knock-on. Mortimer feeds the pack, which is screwing badly. It's a Canterbury ball. This is Folk standing off the pack, now playing in the lock-forward position with Casillas in the second row. Mark Hughes at 5'8". That's Mark Hughes. Lovely tackle by Gartner. Peter Mortimer, Smith. Paponis, Mortimer, and almost regained, but Gibbs lost it, and it's Blake in possession, and a good run by Blake, back to the quarter line on Canterbury's end of the ground. Manly 6, leading Canterbury-Bankstown 3, 2 tries to 1. Alan Thompson to Knight, and through the gap, and Knight I think is going to score. Cutler there, but he won't stop the big fellow. That's a try by Knight. Knight is in, and it's 9-3 in favour of Manly-Warringah. Beautifully made break there by Knight, showing his pace and good work. Graham Eadie from the touchline attempts the conversion of the Knight try. That's a better looking kick, and it's a goal. And it's 11 points to 3 in favour of Manly. Kick off by Cutler for Canterbury. That's Blake chasing it into the end goal. And that's about 12 metres out from the Manly line. So it's Canterbury right behind the 8 ball now, needing to win this game today to make sure of a place in the semi-finals. Only a point in front of Balmain, and if Canterbury goes down in this match today, then they'll be hoping that South Sydney can beat Balmain tomorrow. Now it's Grilic in possession. A few metres outside the quarter line, Manly's end of the ground. 11-3 in favour of Manly. Martin. 5 tackles on Manly. Looks as if Borton of Manly has been hurt. Limping. And this is Walker making ground, but his pass intercepted by Mortimer. Steve Mortimer held, and there's a touch judge on the field. Touch judge to report somebody. This is the second time that Greg Cook has been reported by a touch judge. Penalty goes to Manly-Warringah. So that makes the penalty count 4-2 in Canterbury's favour. Graham Eadie kicks for the touchline and takes play some 6 or 7 metres on Canterbury's side of halfway. Martin with a free kick. Grilic, Thompson, Ian Thompson. Grilic, Alan Thompson, Walker, 14 metres, Canterbury side of halfway. Manly 11 leading Canterbury 3, only a little more than a minute from half-time. Grilic to Ian Thompson, Martin. Thompson, or at least Grilic to Gibbs. And that kick may be a little too deep. There's plenty of Manly players coming through, but Brentnell has it. And Brentnell just outside his own quarter. That's a loose pass. Casillas picks it up. Mortimer. Anderson. And Anderson lost it in the tackle. The referee, however, has ruled that it was knocked on by Manly. But we're just about on half-time. We should hear the hooter any moment from now. In fact, there it is. And so the referee says that's it. Kick-off is by Eadie for Manly-Warringah, deep to Canterbury's end of the field, with Manly intact, but a change with John Abbott on the field for Canterbury-Bankstown. And we'll have to see by looking around who's gone from the Canterbury pack. There's been no announcement, but Smith is still out there. George Paponis is there. I can see Graham Hughes. I can see Folks. There's Greg Cook. But John Abbott is on the field for Canterbury-Bankstown wearing jumper number 16. And that's Graham Hughes in possession. George Paponis moves in to dummy half.
Mark Hughes is not on the field, John.
Yes, well, Mark Hughes was hurt early in the game. Now, that means they'll have to rearrange the team once again. If Mark Hughes is missing, and I can't see Mark Hughes out there, there's got to be some reorganising again of the Canterbury team, because Mark Hughes moved out to the 5/8 position when Gary Hughes left the field very early in the game. Now let's see, as the scrum goes down, how the Canterbury team lines out. Smith, Paponis and Cook in the front row. Abbott's in the second row with Graham Hughes. Casillas is at lock, and Folkes has moved out to the 5/8 position. So that's the new lineup in the Canterbury team. Abbott in the second row with Graham Hughes, Casillas at lock, and Folkes at 5/8, and Manly win another scrum, making it 6-3 in the scrums, and the ball knocked down there by one Canterbury player, and another one in front of him in an offside position, falling onto the ball, and a penalty to Manly. Martin takes the kick for Manly-Warringah and finds the line some 8 or 9 metres in Canterbury's half. Free kick by Krilich onto Gibbs, Alan Thompson, Gartner, Cray. So Canterbury really in trouble now, down 11 points to 3. And the Balmain club must be feeling very, very happy at the moment.
I think they're out here cheering, aren't they?
This is Gibbs, onto Alan Thompson. Wrapped up by Casillas, just on Manly side of the halfway line. Cray, Vorton, and Chevening, penalty to Canterbury-Bankstown, and it's Folkes to take the line kick for Canterbury-Bankstown. Brentnall, usually the line kicker. I wonder, has he received an injury? If he has, then Canterbury really is in a bad way. The free kick by Paponis, and through Steve Mortimer to Smith. That's not far from the quarter line on Canterbury's end. Back to Paponis. Cook. Paponis. Graham Hughes. The dummy not taken by Stephen Knight. That's a good tackle. Paponis. Mortimer. Casillas. Canterbury not making ground. Still close to the quarter line. Mortimer. And he makes a little ground, and he's well inside the quarter. Good run by Mortimer. And it's going to take a bit of brilliance from somebody like Steve Mortimer to help Canterbury. 5 tackles gone. On to Graham Hughes. And kicked and off a Manly player, and Folkes is in. That's a try by Folkes. The ball rebounding from a Manly player, and Folkes right on the spot to score.
Well, that's a bit of luck that Canterbury needed, and it's a good little kick, a little chip along the ground, not up in the air, rebounds off the Manly player, and Folkes running through in the first place to get hold of the ball, gets the rebound and scores a try.
Graham Hughes here attempts to put the ball through along the ground for the supports coming up wide, but rebounds there, as you can see, from a Manly player, and Folkes did very well indeed to hold that ball. It was a very awkward one, and that's a fine try by this young fellow, now playing at 5'8". Steve Gearan with the conversion attempt, and he's hit that one better. That's a good kick by Gearan, and there's only 3 points in it now. Manly 11, Canterbury-Bankstown 8. Eadie's kick-off is another deep one. Cutler almost back to his quarter line. Paponis, Abbott, who was a regular first grader for Canterbury early this season, showing some very good form indeed. But he's spent a long time now in reserves. This is Cook, losing the ball. Regained by Canterbury, but the whistle's gone for the knock-on. Mortimer feeds the scrum. Screwing badly again, and there's going to be another penalty, and this time it's against Canterbury for collapsing. And Eadie's kick finds touch just short of the quarter on Canterbury's end. Manly 11, Canterbury-Bankstown 8. Martin with a free kick. From Krilich to Alan Thompson. Knight. Krilich. Making more ground from dummy half. That's only 15 metres out from Canterbury's line. Ian Thompson, Alan Thompson. Eadie out wide, stands in the tackle, and that's Gartner. And Gartner's not far out from the line. He scores. Gartner's in for a fine Manly try, and it's 14 points to 8.
It's good play by Manly here. A wide pass by Alan Thompson, and Graham Eadie chiming into the attack, running very hard indeed, was able to get that ball away. Gartner did well to support Eadie, realising he's got to go for that corner, does just that, and scores a good try.
And his feet must have been very close to that touchline. Gartner did very well indeed. That's Eadie's strength in standing in that tackle now. Gartner, all very close to the touchline, but a good try. Another difficult kick for Graham Eadie. They've all been difficult for this fellow today. And he's missed this one across the goal mouth. It's still 14-8 in favour of Manly. Kick off by Cutler. Well, we saw Canterbury in magnificent efforts come from behind to beat Parramatta by a point, and similarly to beat Balmain by a point. Can Canterbury do it again in this game? Manly scrum win. Gibbs wrapped up by Folkes and Brentman. Alan Thompson. Walker.
The kick on Manly's side. Walker with the ball there. He was supported by 3 men, and they're moving on with the ball carrier, going with him. There's 3 or 4 players, and they're lined out deep. Everyone running with purpose. A different Manly team.
Oh, nearly intercepted by Paponis. Knocked on. Manly have regained, and the tackle count restarts. Blake plays it back to Alan Thompson. Now it's Knights. Tackle by Graham Hughes. 15 metres Manly's half. Gibbs, Gray. These fellows are playing with so much more determination today. They seem to have lost all their incentive and determination in the last couple of games, but they've got plenty of determination today. Gibbs. Alan Thompson at dummy half. Ian Thompson. Gartner. Eadie. Unable to get it away this time. 5 tackles gone. And Krilich kicks it deep into Canterbury's half. Cutler coming across field after the ball. Cutler for Canterbury. Plenty of defence there in front of him, and Cutler takes the tackle inside his own quarter line. Anderson, Mortimer, Folkes, Gearan. Can't get around Blake. That's still inside the Canterbury quarter. And Manly still leading by 14 points to 8. Oh, and another mistake by Canterbury. They've made far too many handling errors to win this game. Away to Krilich. Gartner. Eadie. Back to Krilich. Eadie is up at dummy half. From Eadie to Thompson. Gartner. And he steps through a tackle. Got the ball to Gibbs, and Gibbs close to the line to Mooney. And Mooney's in! That's Mooney's 3rd try. And it makes Mooney the top try scorer of the season. 15 tries. One more than Larry Corowa.
It just about looks like the ball game too. There's good football. Gardner once again making that initial break. He's had a fine game. Johnny Gibbs backing up. Out to Mooney. A good pass. He beats the Canterbury defenders. And that's a great...
Graham Eadie from near the touchline attempts the conversion. And again, just to the right. Very close, but no goal. It's 17-8 in favour of Manly. Cutler's kick-off. Well back into Manly's half. Mooney in possession, coming out towards his own quarter line. The scorer of 3 tries today, Tom Mooney. Back to Krilich. Walker.
That's the way to run into a ruck, taking the ball up, full of determination. The Manly players supporting each other, playing great football.
Ian Thompson to play it back. Abbott has been hurt in that collision with Ian Thompson. Play about 12 metres on Manly side of the halfway line. Gibbs running back a little, losing a little ground. Abbott back on his feet for Canterbury, and now a penalty against Canterbury-Bankstown. Graham Eadie kicks for the touchline and takes play well into Canterbury's half. Martin with a free kick. Back to Krilich, Alan Thompson, Walker running into Graham Hughes. Alan Thompson, Ian Thompson. Gibbs. And inside the Canterbury quarter, the ball played back by Krilich, and now it's Gibbs. That's a long one to Vaughton, Alan Thompson, Gartner in the centre, and he's around his man again. Gartner just inside the quarter line. Plays it back. On to Alan Thompson for the up and under. That's an awkward one. Plenty of Manly players coming through. It's put down by Canterbury, and he's got his ball on the line. The referee looking very closely. It's still just in the field of play. And the referee is going to set a scrum. Knock on ruled. Steve Mortimer feeds the pack, and it's going to be another Manly ball. Gibbs himself almost through. Only a metre or two short of the line. Gibbs to play it for Manly. Manly leading 17-8. 5 tries to 2 as the ball goes to Gartner. And again he stands up the opposition, and that's a great try. Gartner's having a magnificent game for Manly-Warringah. He's repeatedly beaten his opposite number, and he's gone in for what was an excellent try.
He closed the gate now. It's all Manly. And what a great centres game Russell Gartner has played today. He chiming into the attack, but he's from a standing start. Leaves the Canterbury defence in 6s and 7s, in tatters, and goes in for a top try. He's having a magnificent game.
Yes, that's the second try by Gartner, and look at the way he stands up the opposition there. Around Cutler, inside again, attempts the conversion, this time out to the left, the other side, no goal, but it's 20 points to 8 in favour of Manly. Stan Cutler with the kick-off. And Walker runs for Manly, taken by Abbott in that tackle. Krilich, Knights.
And hasn't this fellow had a great game too? Fine try and very strong match.
And Cray too. The way they're running, they're hitting that line very, very hard, and that must be taking its toll of the lighter Canterbury-Bankstown forwards. Here's Alan Thompson. The long one to Eadie. Beautifully to Walker. The dummy. Walker gets it inside to Mooney. Mooney centres it with that kick. Down to Krilich. A knockback. And Krilich falls on the ball. Krilich unmarked. Plays it forward. Gets it away loosely, and is Canterbury in possession a few metres outside the Canterbury quarter line. Manly leading by 20 points to 8. And looking like the defending champions they are.
My word. Very impressive display.
Steve Mortimer away to Casillas.
The hardest thing too for Canterbury is they've been having to stop the bigger Manly forwards. Of course, it takes its toll on the fitness, and very difficult when in attack.
Collision between Gibbs and Mortimer, the two halves, and anybody's ball. Who's got it? It's Canterbury's ball. Mortimer plays it back, and on it goes. Through Paponis to Graham Hughes, and now Anderson. Anderson held. Back to Paponis. On to Abbott. Caught by Mooney. Slips the ball back to Gearan. And Gearan held about 8 metres.
Obviously.